Welcome back, everyone, to Conscious Conversations with Hayley Cullen. I am super excited to bring our special guest in for the day. Jo, welcome to Conscious Conversations. I'm so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much, Hayley. Yeah, I'm keen to jump into the convo and see where it leads.
Me too. Conscious
Yeah.
Conversations. So, do you want to just quickly share who you are and what you do
Yeah,
for
sure.
the listeners right now?
Yeah, thank you. Jo Spehr is my name. I'm Gold Coast based and I run Empire Events, which is an event management company. We help entrepreneurs to use events to really grow their business. And what we love to do is take on all of the logistics and the planning and all of the hectic chaos that goes on behind the scenes with events and allow them to really show up and really add value to the audience, really perfect their talk and be present and able to connect with their attendees instead of running around fixing AV and fumbling around the place. So we work with a lot of different entrepreneurs and leaders on all styles of events, workshops, retreats, small scale seminars, and then bigger events like Dreamfest here on the Gold Coast is a good example of one of the bigger ones we do. So yeah, I absolutely love that. Come from more of a corporate background, mostly worked in government after leaving high school and did a lot of business support roles and then transitioned into events because I'm very organized, very detail orientated. So naturally, it's something that, comes easy to me. And after a little period of time, I actually started out in the coaching industry initially when I became an entrepreneur. I was doing breath work and transformation work, which I know you're super into as well. So I really utilized events early on in my own business to help me grow and really stand out amongst all of the other people in the industry, and was able to scale that business to six figures in 6 months, which was cool. And after a period of time, around 18 months, I started to feel a little bit less fulfilled than I had hoped in that coaching business. Like I loved the transformation and helping the clients get results, but I didn't love the online delivery. Like a lot of it was online. And so for me, it was like getting in the room with people and creating events and community experiences was really my passion. And my mentor helped me to see that like that's your thing. And at the time I was like, "Oh, how can I make that a business though?" Like I couldn't really understand how people would potentially pay me for it or how I could package it up. So long story short, ended up transitioning into events, just purely events in the business. And here we are now, get to work with some really cool people. And I absolutely love what we get to do. We travel around and get to create really memorable experiences for people, which is my passion.
Yeah, that's amazing. I love that you are like helping entrepreneurs hold their own events because that's where everyone wants to be, right? Up on the stage doing their thing, but also bringing so many different people together in the one space to connect and to network and to, really see each other in what their profession or what their skills are. So
Mhm.
what was the name of of your company? Event
Empire Events is,
Empire Events.
yeah,
Amazing.
because the way I see it is we help entrepreneurs build their empire through events.
Yeah, that's so great. And I've been to Dreamfest a couple of times and it is the best event. So
Yeah.
well done on that because that's a huge big event. That's so
It
cool.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, up to 800 people over 2 days, multi-speaker at, a really big venue that has a lot of production in the background, so definitely takes a team to pull that one off. It's definitely one of the bigger projects that I get to work on. I'm on the 3rd year this year, but yeah, it's super fun as well. It's like, we get a DJ in and there's lots of, fun activities, and we get to celebrate on the yacht the following day, so yeah, it's definitely enjoyable. And events can be quite intense and lots of moving parts, but actually then getting in the room and seeing the end product and actually standing back and actually watching people connect and have a good time. That's the moment for me where it's like, all the hard work, everything that we've done behind the scenes in the lead up is all worth it because everyone's just having that beautiful experience. So yeah, I
Yeah,
love it.
absolutely. So you said you started in government, working in government once you left school. So tell me about the role that you did there and what made you realize that you wanted to go into coaching and the breath work and things from that.
Mm,
Such a big change, from
yeah,
government to breath work and coaching, like,
I know, right?
yeah,
Wild. Yeah, obviously it's been a journey. When I left high school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. Like I was quite like I would say, school came quite easily to me, and I just didn't really know, yeah, what I wanted to do. So, my nan at the time suggested to go into a government traineeship where I went to TAFE, and it's something to fall back on. But then it was like administration and business support, and I ended up just being really great at it, and so just kind of worked my way around different some private departments, but then also mostly government over a period of time, probably nearly 2 decades, I would say I was working in that space before starting my own business. And then my last role was at the Gold Coast Council prior to leaving. And at the time, I had transitioned out of business support roles and like was getting more into the event management side of things. So I upskilled through the council when I was working there, and then started to work on some large scale events at the Gold Coast Sports and Leisure Centre, which was really cool. Like I got to see big events and big stadiums activated and having a lot of operational input as well. I think that makes like those skills that I gain make like these events that I run now easier for me in a sense because they're not at that scale. So it's like you can just scale it down. And I use the same processes and the way that I organize things. But after, I was actually after a breakup. Because I used to work hard for my money and like, work my way up, and then I'd party hard as well. So on the weekends, I was probably a completely different person to who you saw on The Office. But I was very much like a running on cortisol, like a having coffees and like go, 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 very in my head, probably very masculine. And then, yeah, after the breakup, I just had like a probably dark night of the soul, you could call it. Like I started to question my life and my reality, and especially alcohol, because he had issues with alcohol, and then that made me question my own relationship to alcohol. And I had a period of time where I just didn't drink, didn't really see anyone, went very internal, trying to figure out like who am I, and why have I continued to use alcohol. I didn't think I had a problem with it, but I definitely used it as a vice. And so a lot of emotion came up, and I had no tools or awareness on how to actually process that and move through it. And I was guided to breath work. I found it down on the beach. I live in Burleigh, and cool to be conscious back in the day when I kind of first started out. I noticed this group of people doing something on the beach. I thought they were meditating or something. And I didn't know what breath work was at the time, but eventually I got the courage up to go down and go on my own because no friends would come with me. I just felt called. I was like, something, you've got to go give this a go. And for me at that time in my life, one, finding breath work and a really, effective tool to regulate my nervous system and to move through emotions was really helpful. But then also finding community, because at the time I felt a little bit isolated from a lot of my friends because I didn't really understand what I was going through, and I was trying to figure out this whole drinking thing and whatnot. And so finding a group of people who are like out on the beach early on a Sunday morning, they're not hungover, they're actually wanting to improve their life. It made me find a sense of belonging. And so I really started to dive more into different breathwork workshops. And then that just led me down the path of personal development. And I just spent all this money and just went headfirst into like, okay, these tools are working for me. Number one, why isn't this being taught to everybody? I was just like, everyone needs to know about this. So
yeah.
naturally I started to want to become a facilitator and actually be able to share that knowledge with others because it had had such a profound impact on my life.
Mm,
So yeah, I became trained as a breathwork facilitator. And then through that period, like COVID was kind of around as well. So um, I'd been doing a lot of personal development, was signed up to do breathwork facilitation, and knew that I wanted to do something else like NLP or like something so, to also understand the mindset element. And then they were going to bring in mandates at the council, like, for the shop. And I was like, whatever you want to do is fine, but I'm not going to participate in that. And I had a feeling that it would never get passed through because, local government, there's like unions and there's like a whole process to get anything kind of approved. But I use that as my fuel. I was like, right, I'm just going to go all in and start a business because I don't actually want to work for anyone anymore. Like I really want to be free and sovereign and live on my own terms. And I think doing all the personal development made me finally admit that to myself and feel confident and courageous enough to be like, I can fucking do anything. So yeah, I ended up hiring a sales and business coach before I even had a business. I gave myself 6 months. I was like, right, I'm going all in on this. So signed up for that. And then obviously I'd finished my breathwork facilitation through that time, signed up to do NLP practitioner training as well. And for 6 months, I was just hustling hard. I started running events. I started to get clients before I was even like qualified in anything, you know. But yeah, I really studied hard as well to do NLP. I ended up doing master practitioner training as well. And after 6 months, like I gave myself an end date, which was actually the last working day of June 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So my memory popped up a couple of days ago of my last day of work, and I was just so emotional. I was like, oh my God, like felt like a whole new world was opening up. So long story short, yeah, that was kind of the fuel to the fire for me to like, you know, get my shit together and do that. And yeah, that was quite successful from there, as I mentioned, until I decided I want to transition into events. So here we are.
Here we are. And you know what? Of course, this is what's happening right now. But that story that you just told was exactly what I did.
Wow.
Like stopping drinking, drugs, finding cool to be conscious on the beach. I went to Noosa though when they first started at Noosa. I lived in North Brisbane and I was driving to Noosa every Sunday
Wow.
morning to go to the beach to do the
How
work.
cool.
Then I dived into the NLP practitioner, master practitioner,
Wow.
epigenetics, like um, energetics,
Yeah.
Reiki, all the
Yeah.
things, and
Same.
left all left left all the work, the job. I was running a construction company at the time, and just went, you know what? I'm just gonna do my own thing. And I dived in probably about 4 years ago as well. Just went,
Wow.
yeah.
How's that? We have a very similar story. So cool.
Totally.
So
That
cool.
just blew my mind, you saying that, because I was like, "Yep, yep, yep, I get it, I get it, I get it."
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I was similar. I like, you know, after I did the mindset work, I then went in to do some embodiment work, and I was doing like spiritual energetic work. And then, so I kind of, you know, I think when you're in personal development, you're like, okay, what's next? What can I learn? And I was, you know, learnt speaking from stage, and, you know, just kept going. And yeah, all of those skills have been so useful in terms of like helping myself initially, but then
Mhm.
even now, like even though I'm not a coach, you know, those skills still come in handy at for certain things. So
Absolutely.
it's like,
And as we go through this, deep dive, I did the whole deep dive for 6 months, no working, just, like, healed myself with doing all these different things. As you go into it, you just start noticing different things about yourself, like your whole friend group changes, your whole values, like what you actually want in life. It's like just so wild to see the different masks we put on and the different personas we play
yeah.
because of who we thought that we had to be. And then I think that's what I really love about coaching is helping other people see themselves, their true self, or what they actually really want in this life, you
It's
know?
just this like unlearning and shedding process of like, yeah, letting go the masks or the
Yeah,
layers of like, that's actually not me. I got
yeah,
that from my mum or that conditioning. So yeah, it's powerful work.
yeah. We limit ourselves so much from what we have been conditioned to believe or, you
Mhm.
know, yeah, I had a coaching call a couple of days ago with a beautiful mentor of mine, and she helped me see some things that are still playing out in my life, and it's just like, holy fuck!
It's a
Like,
never
still,
ending,
it's never ending. It's so
a
good.
continual journey. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you start running your own events and that's when you were like, "I fucking love events and this is what I wanna help other people do?"
Well, like when I was at the council, like, because I'd been in admin and business support roles for such a long time, many years ago now, it came to a point where I was also feeling like unfulfilled in doing that job. And then I sat back and I was like, oh, like, what are the parts of this work that I really love? And what are the parts that I don't enjoy so much? And then I narrowed it down to, because I was creating like workshops and events and even team building and leadership workshops within my role. And then that's what I realized. I was like, oh, that's really what I enjoy doing, is creating experiences or events. And then in my spare time, I was like the party girl. And so I also was the organizer of my friends group. So whenever there was a 30th or a hen's party or something that needed doing, they were like, let's go see JoJo. Like she'll help us with it. And there was actually a period of time, like way before COVID and everything, where I almost started a pop-up party planner business. And I almost was going to register the name and all these things. And then something inside of me was like, there's something more for you. There's like something else here. And I actually didn't follow through with it. But then it was probably a year or two later when, this all came forward. So yeah, definitely when I started coaching, I used events as a way to get my name out there and to grow my brand and my business early on. So I was running, like community breathwork style events quite early on. And then I transitioned into like women's workshops. And so I think that was a big key in terms of how I grew my business quite quickly and really got in front of people. But the passion for events, yeah, I think has been there for quite a while. And it was my mentor who reflected back to me after the first 18 months of the coaching business, because I was supporting him in his business running their events because they were scaling quite quickly and a lot of their services were like event based. And I remember saying to him, I was like, would you like my support with running your events? Because they were growing. And then so I got to learn a lot about how specific like business mentor and sales events work as well in the background. But they obviously saw me in my element and how great I was at it. And it was him who was like, JoJo, like, it's events. Events is your thing. You're a gun at it. You love it. And I was like, but how can I make that a business? And then when I finally saw the gap in the market, because I had so many coachy friends around me and everyone doing their thing. And then I was like, you're right. There's no one out there helping them to understand how to run events to grow their business. And so once I saw the gap, I was just like, holy shit, I'm going to like position myself right in there. It took a bit of time though. Like it was probably about 18 months for me to transition, close up my coaching, actually start to do a bit of market research because I really wasn't sure like what are people going to be willing to pay? How do I package it up? What do I provide? So I started to do some market research and also had to shift the identity because like I'd gone all in on
You're the
this
coach.
being the coach, leaving my full-time job. And then like my identity was so tied into that. It was another big kind of dark night of the soul, big death that I had to let that go.
Mm.
And then I launched myself as the events queen.
Yep.
And it just worked really well. Because I think, as I said, I positioned myself within a gap in the industry and I just had like a lot of high level entrepreneurs just come and approach me and want to work with me. Cause again, there wasn't really anyone else doing what I do, especially like here on the Gold Coast or, like within the kind of entrepreneurial bubble that we are here. So yeah, it worked really well. I worked with Nat Patterson initially. Don't know if you know her, but helped her run her events, which was a great case study for me to understand, like, what does she need? What was she going to pay me for? And then she scaled to 7 figures within that year. And I was just like, great, So,
Yeah.
all the pieces always guiding you exactly where you're meant to go, I think.
Absolutely. And we got to listen and see those nudges when they're
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
and can you speak into the identity part of things? Because that I'm going through that at the moment. So I want you to just explain, how did you like let go of that identity and then create your new one? Like
Yeah.
it's a big thing to step into something new when you like feel like you're this person over here, but you want to be this person in the
Mhm.
future. So
Yeah.
like, how did you navigate that?
I just took my time with it, to be honest. Like I could have just gone, fucking cut that business off and just start the new one. But I don't think that my nervous system would have felt really good about it. I probably may have not been quite ready. I might have started to self-sabotage. So for me, I've just learned, like, I'm also a projector in human design. And so slow and steady works for me. And
Mhm.
like, I noticed in the past, I kind of got caught up in like certain, you know, certain ideas and strategies within the coaching industry of like, it's like, you got to go all in. And like, sometimes that works at a certain stage of your journey, that 100% works. Then after a period of time, I'm over continually reinventing the wheel. And like, every time that I would have like an identity upgrade or, you know, a change in myself, it was like my business was reflecting that. So I feel like my identity was almost too tied in with it.
Mhm.
And that I was also unconsciously probably wanting that validation. And also, I believe that the reason that the coaching business started to become less fulfilling for me is because I was still continually doing my own healing work. The past version of me wanted to be the saver and the fixer in my family. And
Mhm.
that obviously then translated into coaching, wanting to help save, fix people. Um, and then I think once I started to really heal that, I didn't feel as fulfilled in playing that role anymore. And so I think it was just really being honest with myself and coming to terms with, like, this is actually a good thing, number one, because you've grown out of that thing that it's been such a big part of your identity for your whole life. Like, you know, from a very young age, I was, you know, supporting my family emotionally and like, you know, I'm eldest of 4 kids. My mum was very young when she had me. So I was always playing a very responsible, mature role and always putting everybody else's needs before my own and things like that. So yeah, as I continued to do the work, I was like, I think it was more overcoming probably the fear of judgment of like, am I failing at this? What if it doesn't work? Like this new business, it was like so scary and unknown. And the thing for me was nobody else was doing what I wanted to do. So I didn't really have anyone to model
Mhm.
or to show me how the best way to, you know, offer my services was. So I had to be okay with trial and error. And as a past perfectionist, that was also a growth in itself. And so, yeah, for me, I don't know if there was like one answer as to how I did it. I just allowed it to happen step by step. And I continued to work towards the new future that I wanted and the new business model that I wanted, while also honoring and respecting the past business and like closing the containers off and, you know, giving that the attention it still needed while also focusing on the future. So it was like a very gradual transition, I would say.
Mhm.
And I think just continuing to lean on my own processes through that time, like I realized after a bit of time that I was kind of just positively mindsetting myself out of a lot of things, which is a little bit NLP. Kind of you can fall into that at times. So I was bypassing a lot of my emotions because, and then also I was doing quite a lot of spiritual work. So I was like trying to stay high vibe all the time. And then wasn't until I started to do embodiment work that I was like, oh fuck, there's still a lot of emotions and unresolved feelings in here that
Mhm.
no mindset or spiritual stuff can actually remove. I had to really descend, you know, into the body and into all of those feelings and the fear of abandonment and whatnot that, you know, is one of the core things that I get to transverse through this life. So it was a journey for sure. Um, and I think having mentors and people there in my corner to hold me accountable is also great. But I think just taking the pressure off myself to have it perfect or to have it look a certain way, because I had to just accept that no one's done this before. I'm
Mhm.
just going to have to fuck around and find out, give it a crack, and trust that I've got my back no matter what. And that, you know, if I fail, it's just feedback. And yeah, eventually I just got to a point where I was like, I'm all in on relaunching the business Empire Events. I branded myself as the events queen, even though I felt so freaking uncomfortable with that, to be honest. I was like, that's a big like ego fucking who calls themselves the queen, you know? Like that was actually really big and uncomfortable for me to own that.
Yep.
but I just felt it was part of the growth. And so, yeah, it all kind of seemed to come to this point of compounding where it just started to work, but no one probably saw the full 18-month journey behind it that got me to that point.
Right. So it took 18 months to transition.
Roughly, yeah, roughly it was, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, wow. You know how like when you're in the coaching industry, you always got a mentor or a coach or business, sales, whatever. You always working with someone to help, like
Mhm.
with your own business. What would you say to someone that is maybe in government or somewhere else that don't have coaches or mentors or anything like that? What would you suggest to them, or how would you explain to them how it really can help and benefit your life,
Yeah.
having someone in your corner?
Yeah, for sure. I think when I look back at where I was before I even knew that coaches and personal development was available, I was very much just living unconsciously, right? 95% of our actions, our thoughts, and our behaviors are driven by our unconscious mind. So we get into kind of autopilot. And I didn't actually really know that, number one, I wanted something different in my life, or I wasn't maybe able to admit that to myself because I was just going along, doing the motions, doing what I'd been taught. And so it wasn't until I had people outside of me that I trusted and that, I looked up to, that were able to reflect back to me that there was so much more potential inside of me than what I was actually playing at. That was kind of when I started to open my eyes, or I suppose wake up to the fact that, like, wow, I'm not actually feeling 100% happy with my life. Like, I'm doing good, I've got a decent job. I work hard and I play hard. And then I realized that these were just programs that I'd been given from my family. And so once I saw it, I couldn't unsee it. But it took somebody outside of me to be able to put the mirror up and reflect back to me what I was actually really feeling deep down inside. And so I'm so grateful for coaches, mentors. I think that, even when you get to a certain level of awareness in yourself, there are still so many blind spots. And we do need other people, whether it's your relationships or, mentors or whoever, to be able to reflect that back if you want to continually grow. So not everyone has that growth mindset, but
Mm,
if you do, then it's really invaluable to have somebody in your corner who can not only reflect those parts back to you, but also hold you to your word. For me, a lot of the time, coaches and having people in my corner, it's about accountability.
yeah.
Because, we might have big goals or dreams, but, then maybe we start procrastinating on it, or we come up with excuses, or something happens in life and it takes you off path. So having somebody there to actually help keep you on track, I find, has been really useful.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And it's just once you actually start with somebody and it just snowballs from there. And then you just go in so many different ways and you meet different people and then a new mentor will come into your life and it's like, wow, I, I didn't see this ever happening or, you get the different perspective shifts from different people. Yeah. And it's really cool. I've worked with both men and women
Yeah.
and majority have been men, to be honest, as mentors. I've had a couple of women though, and it's so cool to see the different perspectives and have those different things like coming back to you from whoever it is that's sitting in front of you. If when you're a coach, you have had to have gone through something before you can take someone else through that. It's
Mhm.
just wild what can happen when you actually start. And that's the hardest part is going, fuck, my life is so like chaotic, or I'm not feeling good in my body. I
Mhm.
feel depressed, or I'm drinking way too much, and just choosing to actually have someone there by your side to help you start.
Yeah, I think that first step can be the most uncomfortable when it's so unknown, right? And that animalistic part of our brain wants to keep us safe. So it's going to come up with all the excuses and all the reasons not to do the thing. But then I think once you done it once, it's like so exhilarating. And when you really feel and see the shifts in yourself, it's almost like you get addicted to the growth, and it's like, what's the next step? Like, where's the next edge that I get to be? So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a journey.
Yeah, totally. Especially when we go into the uncomfortable zone and we grow so much from that.
Yeah.
It's like if you already have an addictive personality or you already have like an addiction to something, to flip it to personal development and things like that, it's fucking way better, right? It's way better for your mindset. It's way better for your body, for your health, all the things.
Yeah.
So what are your most favorite events to help people hold? Like, you've got people doing speaking gigs and things like that, but then you've got events that like there's a lot of people there, there's dancing, there's
Yeah.
people. What's your most favorite? What brings the most joy to you?
I actually run my own event every month. We've actually just gone bi-monthly, but Mic Drop on the Gold Coast. So we've just had our 1 year anniversary, and it's been like quite a journey in itself, and it's a multi-speaker event. So we have 3 different tiers of speakers, from emerging speakers to like established entrepreneurs and industry leaders, and then entertainment every month. And when I first started the event, I made a commitment to myself to not change anything and just run it exactly the same way for a year. And after a few months, I was like, wow, this is a bit of a complex kind of event model. Every month, I need to find 3 speakers and entertainment to fit a theme. But I've just come to like grown to love it so much, and like the community, it's just grown and grown and grown. And that's like definitely, it's very high vibe and fun, and obviously packed full of value. And I get to host that. And so obviously I'm behind the scenes with a lot of my clients running their events with them. But this was my opportunity to actually get up and showcase my own skills, and being able to speak and being seen, and to actually really showcase that I can talk the talk and walk the walk. So I love it. That's definitely one of my favorite events to be a part of. And just because it's like very community based as well, people come back, and it grows
Yeah.
and grows. Outside of that event though, I really love retreats. And because like if you're running a 1 day event or a 3 day event, like there's generally a little bit of a structure that you've got to follow. Like, you've got a limited amount of time with people. You really want to hit the mark and ensure that, they're getting what they came for, but they're also, potentially wanting to continue the journey with you and things like that. With a retreat, it's a lot more feminine. It's a lot more flowy. Like you have an itinerary. There's normally some activities and embodiment processes or whatever it might be, but there's generally a lot more space to allow for the transmission and to allow for the connection and things like that. So, yeah, I really love being in those spaces where it is a little bit more flowy, and it's less like, oh, hey, we've got a run sheet, we've got to hit every point on the mark. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, I'm co-facilitating a retreat in August. It's called Soul Whispers Retreat. It's in
Cool.
Noosa,
Amazing.
alongside Christy Drake,
I know
and
Christy. Yeah.
yeah, and it's just absolutely beautiful. The last one we did, that's what all the women said. It was so nice to have the space to integrate, like, as the retreat went, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's beautiful. Retreats are incredible, and you go in as one person and you leave completely different, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's just beautiful, seeing women give back to themselves as well by attending
Mhm.
them.
Yeah.
So you would see so many people coming in and leaving completely different, and you help with that, like you're there holding the event and the space for this to all occur, and that would just
Mm.
like fill your heart.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely nice. I think usually they're a bit more intimate as well, so you can really connect with people and their stories, and yeah, really seeing those shifts is magical. And for me, holding the space for them, but also for the facilitator, because they're doing a massive job,
Yeah,
in terms of holding that space for everyone else. So I get to hold the space for them as well. And a lot of the time I also get to participate in certain things. So it's really cool. Like I've done a few over in Bali, and yeah, get to travel around quite a lot for different events wherever the clients need me to go. So in terms of like creating a business that also supports my ideal lifestyle and my need for fun and
Totally.
adventure is really fulfilling.
Yeah, amazing, especially traveling to Bali. That
Yeah.
place is incredible for, you know, self-healing retreats, things like that. Like, it's such a
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yeah, so on a total different frequency there. I was actually there this time last year running like a very spiritual retreat with a beautiful friend and client of mine. So I've had all the memories popping up.
Mm.
And so yeah, it's really, really cool.
Amazing. I have seen Mic Drop around a lot. I've not attended one yet, but I've seen a lot of my friends speak there, and a lot of them are attending it. And is this where it's where they um, share like their story, what they're doing, like what 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 is it that the people at Mic Drop are speaking into? Like, what are you giving to the people there?
Yeah, that's a great question. So usually every month has a different theme. The 1 year anniversary was the future of business. But the speakers I do hand select depending on the theme to really complement each other. And I keep it very broad, to be honest. The only advice I give them, I'm like, this is the theme, and I really invite you to share a mic drop moment. So for me, mic drop moments are those like aha moments, the big breakthroughs, those pivotal moments in your life where you're like, oh, fuck, like, yeah, that moment, when I made that decision or I had that breakthrough, that changed everything. So, yeah, you get like lots of varied kind of, some of them are stories and vulnerable shares about experiences. Others are more workshop style where they're actually adding, giving value and giving you skills and strategies and things like that. So it's very broad and every event is unique and different, which was my main intention. I wanted people to want to come back every month because there's always something fresh and exciting happening, which is why I also bring in different entertainment as well. Because I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, what would make me want to go back to an event or what would make me want to go every month? And yeah, having a different array of speakers and also giving the emerging speakers an opportunity. It's like a real safe space for people to get up and share, even if they're not perfect or polished.
Yeah.
And so having that range really, it seems to work well. And all the speakers get the content fully from the whole event as well and all of their talk so that then they can use that to help promote themselves further and potentially get more speaking opportunities because being at all the events, I just constantly keep getting asked, I'm looking for opportunity to speak on stage. If you ever hear of anything, let me know. And I honestly got asked that often that I was just like, I'm just going to create the stage because then it gives me that opportunity as well. And so, yeah, it's really cool that I have different people apply to come in and speak. And I normally curate the event from all of the people who are interested to come along. So it's
Mm.
really cool. Yeah.
I love that. I love that because you can sit in front of the computer and, coach and mentor people, but stepping on stage in front of someone, that is like my biggest fear. I've done a lot of work around that, and it's wild
Yeah,
doing
it's
that. And
definitely the biggest fear for a lot of people. So again, with that comes so much growth.
yeah, yeah. So I love that you have a space for people that probably haven't ever done it before, or, have done it a couple of times, and then they know that the people in the room are just going to hold and love them in whatever happens anyway, because they're the kind of people that you get in these kind of rooms, right? There's no judgment. There's only love and support and like people cheering you on, especially standing on a stage and delivering something. Yeah, I love that you created that for people. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll have
thank
to
you.
bring it
It's
that one day.
definitely very special, like even seeing the growth of it and people connect. And we have a bit of a guided networking process. And I love hearing the stories of the connections people have made. Like it's not just about business. It's like some people have found their housemates and, new opportunities for podcasts or speaking, or they've made like really close friends. And for me, I'm like, oh, yay, I just
Yes.
love those stories. Yeah.
Yeah, so good. Amazing. So, I've got a question for you about conscious conversations. If you could have one conscious conversation, whether it be on stage, at an event, like on this podcast right now, what would the conversation be for you? What do you feel people should be having deeper conversations about?
Mm. I think the first thing that came to mind is really the importance of connection in person. And that's whether you're in a business or not, right? It's part of our human innate need is to have connection. And with the rise of AI and lots of things going online, it's been great. You know, everything's going digital and AI is helping to streamline and automate so much. However, what it's also creating a flow on effect and a ripple effect because a lot of people are starting to feel really disconnected
Yeah.
and you don't really know what's real online anymore. Like some of the videos and photos, it's like, is this real or not? Like you can't even tell. So
Mm,
as a result of that, people's trust is going down. And so as a business owner, we know that people need to know, like, and trust us in order to want to pay us money for a service. So the events industry is blowing up because of it, which I'm fucking excited about, obviously.
you're right.
But yeah, the global events industry is set to hit $2.5 trillion.
Wow.
And so, yeah, it's really exciting times. I'm not against AI whatsoever, but I just feel like if you want to build trust with people, online's going to become even harder and harder as we move forward. And so, really creating touch points of people to see you in real life and connect with you in real life. It's like you get in a room with someone and that can help them trust you within a few hours compared to online could take months.
Yeah.
So it really collapses that time. And obviously, you know, you can't get AI to get up on stage for you and present for you. And so there's nowhere to hide. It's like you can't script it. You've got to be real and raw, and people are going to trust that vulnerability and that real life experience of you so much more. So I believe that, yeah, if businesses aren't utilizing in person as part of their business growth and their marketing strategy moving forward, they're probably going to get left behind. And so, yeah, I'm just excited for the industry.
Yeah. Bring on all the events. I
Yeah.
I am currently traveling in my caravan around Australia, living in different places, and that's one thing, like, connection is one of my highest values, and community, and that's one thing that I have noticed myself is if I go a few weeks without seeing anyone or talking to someone, I'm like, I need to go be with other people, like,
Yeah.
I'm craving that kinda connection with like-minded people, you know? So I
Mhm.
think events is really, yeah, you events can make you, like, they can actually make you as a business owner, but also they can help you grow so much personally, you know?
Yeah.
And that's when you are put in rooms with people like yourself or you know, it just makes such a huge difference. So
Yeah.
I always say go to an event, get to an event, like, go
Yeah.
network, go
Yeah.
just go be in that. It's just something about being in a room, it just like, the energy of it, like,
Mhm.
my body sometimes, like, go twitching and tingling because
Yeah.
I can feel everybody's energy and things like that, but it's also I'm excited because there's so many amazing people in one room that
Yeah.
all love the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. I just think of the power of the different connections that you can also make in those rooms. Like so much of my business comes from just being out and networking and connecting with people in real life. So yeah, and also acknowledging that like it can feel scary for people. Like for me, you know, I'm running so many events, I'm out at so many events constantly, I'm hosting events. But like I went to an event last night and I still felt a little bit like social anxiety, like in the lead up to going. Like it wasn't much, but I'm like, yeah, it's still there sometimes, you know, that unknown of like, who am I going to see? And like, you know, maybe I don't know anyone. And so if you feel the fear, like it's okay. You're
Yeah.
probably not alone. Like there are other people there as well who are maybe a little bit hesitant, but get into the space and yeah, I'm sure you won't regret it.
No. Yeah, feel the fear and do it anyway. But it's all the same kind of feeling, right? Excited and nervous
Excited.
in that
Yeah.
and just recognizing it and being like, "Oh, I wonder why this is showing up for me right now." You know?
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that. I
Yeah.
love it. Oh, thanks for sharing that. It is crazy AI.
It
It
is growing so rapidly, like where there's just so much more that's going to come from it. It's yeah, exciting and scary and all the things, like
And you're right, when you do see different things online, you do have to question, like, is this real or is this like AI? Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, some of the videos or things that you see, yeah, you really have to
Yeah.
question. I love AI. I have AI making money for me at the moment. I invest in bots, so I love it for that kind of that side of things. And yeah, also it can be scary for what is going to happen with people in their jobs and things like that as well, you know?
Yeah, lots of change happening, yeah. I mean, I believe that it'll just create more opportunity in so many ways as well. It's just hard to
Yeah.
see right now because it's so unknown, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
definitely crazy. Crazy times.
It is. It is. So do you have any events coming up that people can come along and see and experience you or, you know, um, events that you're holding for other people?
Yeah, so the next mic drop is the 13th of August. We're changing venue. We're now gonna be at Miami Marquetta. So that'll be our first one at the new venue, which is super exciting. So yeah, outside of that, I suppose Dreamfest is a big one that's kind of open to lots of people here on the Gold Coast in August. And then I'm also running a big 2-day conference for women in business, like a big luxury gala called Iconica, which will be the 19th of
Ah, with
September
Candy.
with Candy. Yeah.
Love
And
that.
that's at the QT. So that's big, like a big fun project we're working on, like lots of amazing guest speakers coming in, different
Yeah.
activations. Like it's going to be a whole vibe.
That
So
is going to be, like, incredible, like, an
yeah.
event like no other. So that's really
Mhm.
cool that you're the one that's behind it all. I love that.
Yeah,
Love
yeah. Yeah, Candy, I helped her run a couple of her first ever events a few years ago, and again, that's how she scaled her company to 7 figures in 2 years quite rapidly. So the power of events when you do them right and you fully understand how to position them within your business, I think they're definitely a powerful growth strategy.
Mm, great. Now it's time to run events. I'm feeling that. I'm
Yeah, yeah,
feeling that. And that's why I've pulled up here in Broome for a little bit longer than expected because I want to actually go down the beach and facilitate the breath and medis and things like
yeah,
that. I did one
beautiful.
last week and it was just so beautiful. And all of the women that came along just were like, that was amazing. It's something that we really need. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah, I
love-
remember the joy of running those breathwork experiences, and even back then, those simple community events, I remember getting clients who had never met me before. They've just found the event on Eventbrite, they rocked up, and then next minute, like, they've paid me thousands of dollars to work with me, and so you're like, doesn't have to be it's not always hard, it's just yeah, the right people coming into your space, I believe, as well. And if they connect with you and they know that you have something that they need, and then, you're open to expressing that invitation or explaining what you do, it can be that easy.
yeah, yes,
Yeah.
power of events.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing all of your gifts and your knowledge and just being here. I love what you're doing and you helping other people. Even though you're not doing the coaching and mentoring, you're still helping people with their life. So I feel like that's just, it always comes from the heart, right? You're always coming from the heart. So thank you for
Thank you,
sharing.
Haley. I appreciate it. Yeah, I hope that the listeners got some value from that. And yeah, if you
I'm
ever want
sure
to,
they will.
yeah,
Sure they will, especially just like this is my biggest takeaway was just do it. Like feel the fear and do it. Like, you can pivot, you can transition. You're not that same person all the time. You're like you
yeah,
can change your identity and it's
yeah.
okay to do that.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean it's gonna be easy and it might be messy, but allowing yourself to let go of what no longer feels aligned, yeah, it's tough, but it's very worthwhile. Sometimes you gotta go through the void, like, there might be that time where you're like, "I'm not really who I was, but I'm not yet who I'm becoming," and being comfortable with being in the unknown, like that for me, I was someone who needed certainty all the time, so I had to fully surrender into the unknown and just like, "Alright." That's scary.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
all will work out exactly how it's meant to
Yes,
every
trust the
time.
process. Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, thank you again. Thanks everyone for tuning in. And where can they actually come and find you, Jo, if they want to have you help with events and things like that?
I'd reach out on Instagram, that's where I'm most active, so if you go JoJo_Spehr, which is Spehr, then, yeah, feel free to send me a message, follow along, and see all the crazy crazy events and things that I get up to.
Amazing. I'll pop your handle in the show notes. So
Thanks,
thanks
Hayley.
again for being here.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.